What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for stopping by the channel once again today. I got a little bit of extra for you. It is June 9th, 2022. I am JD from New York, as always, coming to you from the OTS venue. Thank you guys very much for joining me on your Thursday afternoons, wherever you may be. Roman Reigns, the topic of discussion today, not scheduled for the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. That will now make Backlash, Hell in a Cell, and Money in the Bank as pay-per-views Roman Reigns will not be a part of. I have several questions there, Bruce. I have several questions there, Mr. Pritchard. Why did you give him both world championships only to keep him out 3 straight consecutive pay-per-views? Don't you think this highlights the wrong in WWE? I don't get you, man. I really don't understand you. Roster problems, a brand split that's absolutely fucking terrible. Nobody seems to question these major issues in WWE. We're going to go over that and when Roman Reigns will be back on television to defend these championships that right now are holding zero value on WWE television. Also, I got news on the return of Bayley. Bayley set to come back, and if her last tweet is any indication, we may be seeing her lace up the boots, if you guys saw the tweet, sooner rather than later. And did WWE get Dark Side of the Ring canceled on Vice TV? I think so, because WWE is now taking over all of the wrestling programming on Vice TV. We're going to go over all that plus so much more right here on today's Extra. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. That's Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. 1,000 likes minimum on today's OTS Extra. And make sure you guys go check out all of the other videos on the channel right now. There is tons of content that you might have missed. Hell in a Cell, Monday Night Raw, and as of last night, Jesse and I were live for AEW Dynamite and the post show right here on Off the Script. So go check all that stuff out if you guys missed any of the previous week's content. Roman Reigns, no longer scheduled for Money in the Bank. What is happening with the World Championships on WWE programming on Raw and on SmackDown? Sports Illustrated, this is a major publication that's reporting this. This is not Meltzer, where you question everything he does. This is not SAP, where you question everything he does as well. Justin Barrasso of Sports Illustrated has reported that WWE undisputed Universal Heavyweight Champion Roman Reigns will not be a part of the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Meltzer has also confirmed this news, and Meltzer was actually the first one to report that Roman Reigns would be taking the majority of the summer off. So no matter how much you dislike Dave Meltzer, Meltzer got this one 100% correct. Barrasso stated that plans for Reigns were scrapped once they moved from Allegiant Stadium to the smaller, more intimate MGM Grand Garden Arena. So let me get this straight before I even continue on with the report here from Mr. Justin Barrasso. Roman Reigns was scheduled for the Allegiant Stadium Money in the Bank show, but being that WWE foolishly thought they could sell 40,000 tickets for a D-level pay-per-view in Money in the Bank, they couldn't do that, so now they have to move to a smaller, more intimate MGM Grand Garden Arena, and they sold the show out because it's, about 11,000, 12,000 seats. Now you don't need Roman Reigns because the show is sold out. But then I question as a fan, well, what about the world champion? What about the world championships that this man won back at Wrestlemania? Are they not important because you sold out a 12,000 seat arena and you failed to do that with Roman Reigns and Allegiant Stadium? Come on, man. That's the reason why he's not on the show? Man, if you have to fucking tell me without actually telling me that the world championships don't mean jack shit, there you go. I don't like that as a plausible excuse at all. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely, it doesn't matter if the fucking show's being held in front of 5 fucking people. The World Championships should be on the show, especially if you've been building towards a major match with Matt Riddle and Roman Reigns. Now, it's not clear why he is no longer scheduled for the show. Who the fuck knows what internally WWE is thinking as to why he's not on the show. Reigns was originally scheduled to wrestle Riddle at Money in the Bank, which should still be the case, by the way, Randy Orton at SummerSlam, and Drew McIntyre at Clash at the Castle. Now, I thought Riddle and Orton going for Roman Reigns after seeing what we saw on television made all the sense in the world. He's going to bring Matt Riddle, and Matt Riddle's going to have a nice spotlighted match, a nice showcase match against Reigns. Riddle could really show everybody that he really is a main event guy. A match with Randy Orton could be just ingrained in great storytelling. Then we can get Orton and Riddle kind of on the rocks, splitting up, and Orton can put over Riddle on his ascent to the main events. Everything was making sense here. Now, I'm not saying that that stuff still can't happen, but WWE, they're taking the championships for granted. They're taking their premium live events for granted. How the fuck can it be premium if your premium athlete, your premium star, your biggest star in Roman Reigns is not a part of the fucking show? I don't understand it. Everything was going the way that it should have been, and now he's not on the show. McIntyre's already challenged Roman Reigns for the UK show in Cardiff, Wales. I don't know what the outcome's going to be of that match, but if this is any indication, Roman Reigns needs to drop at least one of those championships to Drew McIntyre. Now, the match with McIntyre is already confirmed. He actually said this on Friday Night SmackDown, since McIntyre laid down the challenge in a segment with The New Day, and that is taking place in September, Labor Day weekend. Now, Orton versus Reigns still appears to be on. Of course, it's SummerSlam. I would hope that Roman Reigns is being booked in the main event match. With Orton, I think that'd be great. But the Riddle match, if it happens, it won't be on pay-per-view, and WWE may be saving this for a random episode of SmackDown. Now, Money in the Bank is considered a Big Five show for the company, so they will need some star power at the top of the card. It can't be considered a fucking Big Five pay-per-view if your biggest star isn't on the fucking show, so I don't want to hear any of that bullshit. Cody Rhodes was pushed as the top star for this show in advertising, and although he teased on Monday that he would still be involved in the Money in the Bank ladder match, there is no way with a torn pec that he will be on Money in the Bank's show. Now, Reigns' new contract calls for him to wrestle less on what was reported to be house shows, TV, and pay-per-view events. But this is one of the major 5 pay-per-views for WWE. This is a big summer for WWE, and Roman Reigns is not going to be a part of that. Money in the Bank scheduled for July 2nd in Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, the current plan for Roman Reigns' next title defense, Meltzer talked about this on the Wrestling Observer Live, that as of right now, Reigns' next title defense will be against Randy Orton at SummerSlam. Reigns is still feuding with Matt Riddle, seeing what we saw on television, as they are slated to have a confrontation this Friday, tomorrow night, on SmackDown. If WWE does go forward with Reigns and Riddle, then the match will be televised before SummerSlam. It wasn't mentioned whether that would still be a title match or not. It should be, but I don't know, seeing WWE's latest fuck-ups here. Reigns is still scheduled to wrestle McIntyre at Clash at the Castle. Meltzer says this, and I quote, July 30. He may actually wrestle on TV before that, but July 30 is his first pay-per-view championship match, SummerSlam in Nashville, Tennessee. He may do a television match before then. If he wrestles Riddle, it'll be on TV. It won't be on pay-per-view. At least that's the plan right now. The plan is still Orton for July 30. Obviously, they were building up Riddle and Reigns, and that match on Monday, I'm presuming they're going to do it. I was told that it would not be a pay-per-view match, and if they do it, it's not 100% that they will. So you would think that they will, so that would lead to let everybody believe that it will be, if it does happen, a TV match, end quote. There really isn't much to add on top of what I have already stated, which can be dated back to 2016 when the WWE first had their fucking draft back in 2016. The brand split and the draft has been a complete fucking disaster since WWE reinstated the draft rules for separate brands on Raw and SmackDown, dating back to that draft. I said it from day one. It's not going to work. WWE has refused to acknowledge any of the roster problems that have been going on since 2016. The women's division has been a fucking disaster since then. The tag team division has been a fucking disaster since then. And now, with the obviously miserable roster state and condition on Friday Night SmackDown, WWE still refuses to acknowledge any of the fucking problems, yet only add on to them because Roman Reigns needs to be off for 3 fucking months as the world champion. This man holds the WWE Championship and the Universal Championship, and this man is missing television, this man is missing pay-per-view, and this man is proactively, basically showing everybody that the brand split is a fucking disaster on top of what I have already uttered to you guys since 2016. As soon as Cody Rhodes went down with injury, WWE should have been on the phone with Roman Reigns. We need you back at television and on pay-per-view immediately. I don't understand why you give this man both world championships since April, not one title defense, and still operate a brand split as if nothing is wrong. I don't understand this. Why give him the championships if this is what you planned to do? This is what happens when you put all your fucking eggs in Roman Reigns and all your eggs in the Usos and all your eggs in the Bloodline basket. You have sabotaged what looks to be on purpose the entire state of the WWE roster on Raw and SmackDown. It is fucking inexcusable to leave Monday Night Raw now, especially Cody Rhodes not being there, without a main event guy. It is inexcusable to leave Monday Night Raw in the middle of a brand split without a world champion. At that point, I would be proactively building up the United States Championship. I would be proactively building up the Intercontinental Championship. WWE hasn't even done that for Monday night and Friday night. This is a joke. Then WWE goes on social media and asks on Twitter who should dethrone Roman Reigns. He'd have to be on fucking TV for anybody to dethrone him of the Universal and WWE Championships. Yet you refuse to acknowledge any of the fucking roster problems and the fact that you've failed to build any new stars to even come close to being a threat for Roman Reigns. WWE is in fucking shambles creatively and as far as roster depth, and they don't give a shit because Money in the Bank's coming up, and here you are, a third pay-per-view, not putting your biggest guy on the pay-per-view. Does Matt Riddle not deserve a fucking pay-per-view match against Roman Reigns? That man should be in the main event scene by the end of the year. No fucking excuses. None. And how valuable is the WWE Championship if Roman Reigns isn't on TV defending the fucking title that he wanted so badly from Brock Lesnar? The WWE title is losing prestige day by day by day by day because of Roman Reigns' inability to make television. Is he injured? Is he injured? Is he on vacation? Is there a family problem? Is something flared up with his leukemia? There's got to be a I can't wait for WWE's reason as to why he's been off TV for 3 fucking pay-per-views. I got to see the kayfabe fucking reason they give us as to why our world champion is not on television. And then I go on Twitter and I claim that this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, all the obvious wrongs on social media, and I still have people arguing with me, speaking into the void, because now they're fucking blocked, that Kenny Omega, he never, he defended the title the same way Roman Reigns is defending the title. He wasn't on every show and blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry, I failed to fucking ever realize or remember when Kenny Omega ever missed 3 fucking pay-per-views in a row. And when he wasn't on AEW Dynamite, he was on pay-per-view for Impact. Give me a fucking break. Kenny Omega never missed 3 pay-per-views in a fucking row defending the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. There's no comparison. There's no comparison. It is inexcusable that Matt Riddle and Roman Reigns is not being booked for Money in the Bank. If Matt Riddle and Roman Reigns is not taking place at Money in the Bank, those Money in the Bank ladder matches better be the best fucking matches that WWE's produced all year. I don't want to hear a single fucking peep from anybody This shit sucks. I'm sorry. There's no way that anybody should stand behind the booking of their world championships right now. It is fucking complete and utter garbage. And Roman Reigns needs to be on TV. As soon as Cody went down with injury, he needs to be back on TV right then and there. The moment he got injured and wrestled that match with Seth Rollins, that Monday, he should have been on TV. No questions asked. AEW. Speaking of championships, AEW has created a new championship in the All-Atlantic Championship. The first champion is going to be crowned at the Forbidden Door. AEW and their new championship. You get a better look at it here. After the introduction of the belt, which was last night on AEW Dynamite, Pac took on Buddy Matthews in a qualifying match for the All-Atlantic Championship tournament. He now goes on to the Forbidden Door to wrestle 3 other competitors. One will be from New Japan to kind of fit into the tie of the Forbidden Door. And I'm loving this, man. The other matches include Ethan Page versus Miro, Malachi Black versus Pentagon, or Penta Obscuro, or Oscuro, and 2 New Japan stars for the final bracket in this All-Atlantic quote-unquote tournament. First champion will be crowned at the Forbidden Door on June 26th. Now, there is discussion among the IWC and discussion with all fans watching pro wrestling. Is the All-Atlantic Championship needed in AEW? Do they have too many championships? This was a very topical discussion on the AEW Dynamite post show that I did with my partner last night, Jesse. We do both agree that there may be too many championships, and especially with Ring of Honor being absorbed by AEW and Tony Khan, and those championships also being on TV. You got Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions and FTR on TV. Samoa Joe is the TV champion from Ring of Honor. You got the Pure Champion in Wheeler Yuta. You got Mercedes Martinez with the Women's Championship in Ring of Honor. The Ring of Honor Heavyweight Championship, which I'm assuming is held by Jonathan Gresham at this point still. He hasn't really made it to television, so I don't know what's up with him. I know he was recovering from a concussion that he suffered at the Supercard of Honor show. I don't know what's going on with that. But the only championships that have really been on TV, Wheeler Yuta was on Dynamite last night. He came out with the Pure Championship. FTR came out with the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. They are going to be in a big tag team match at Forbidden Door with those titles on the line. Are there too many championships in AEW? Yes, if you include Ring of Honor, yes, absolutely, there's too many championships. The Owen Cup, I've seen people on social media claiming that the Owen Cup male and female winners with Britt Baker and Adam Cole, they got championship belts. They're more like trophies. So, that's still in the honeymoon phase. They just won the tournament 2 weeks ago. So, of course, they're going to come out with the championships, and they're going to come out with their trophies to tell everybody and show everybody how proud they are of winning the Owen Cup. So, I don't really recognize them as championships. They got the FTW championship that's recognized on TV, but not actually officially recognized as a title in AEW. If it's defended on TV, it's a title in your company. So it shouldn't be, because it's not really an AEW title. It's more of just, hey, let's get a championship on this guy. Everybody's making fun of it. But what I hope isn't the case is that I hope it doesn't push a political narrative to give people of other ethnicities and other backgrounds a championship just because. I hope that, and I said this last night, there are guys on this roster in Pac, in Ethan Page, in Miro, in Malachi Black, and others, Keith Lee, of all different ethnicities and backgrounds. I hope it's not used as a creative crutch to give a title to Miro, because we all want to see him as TNT champion again, because the last time he held the TNT championship, it really was prestigious. I don't want this to be used as a vehicle to get a title on Miro or a title on Malachi just because they're not doing much of anything, and they should be in discussion for major championships. That just is telling me that the creative process behind it isn't really all that creative if you're just creating a championship to give to somebody because he can't really factor into the other championships right now. I don't think that's a good idea. I'm afraid that one of those 2 reasons is the reason why this championship was created. Otherwise, I really can't think of another reason why this championship was created. Now, the other discussion is, for all the people that claim AEW has too many championships, so does WWE. But the thing is, AEW has a roster to really back the added championship that they created in the All-Atlantic Championship. whereas AEW has so much roster and the amount of championships on paper looks like it should be enough. They don't have the TV time to really sustain all those champions being on TV, and I really think that they've done a very good job at keeping their champions not really overexposed. WWE, on the other hand, they have too many championships. They got no roster, and all those champions and championships are overexposed. Championship contender matches, devaluing the fucking title. WWE just has the same amount of fucking championships as AEW, and they got no roster. Meanwhile, AEW has a roster to back up all the championships that they have now introduced on television. But at the end of the day, there is a lot of championships, and the more championships you add, the lesser of the championships that they have will, or the value of those championships will have. You know, the more championships you have, the value of the other championships goes down. Because you're just adding another championship that everybody needs to go after and wants to go and obtain. So it is a very topical discussion right now in the IWC. And I said last night, let it play out. Seriously, is it going to be where people of only specific ethnic backgrounds and ethnicities challenge for this championship? Miro's from Bulgaria, and Malachi's from the Netherlands, and Penta is from Mexico, and Pac is from the UK, and Ethan Page is from Canada. Is it going to be something along those lines? Is this going to be their Intercontinental Championship, where the TNT Championship is their TV title? I don't know. A lot of questions and really no answers. But it should be a great match at Forbidden Door. Let's take it week by week, see what happens at Forbidden Door, and see what happens with the booking of this new All-Atlantic Championship. At the end of the day, I can really say, honestly, that the title looks beautiful. The title is gorgeous, and another grand slam as far as title designs for Tony Khan and AEW. Bayley is coming back to television, supposedly, with this tweet, and Bayley has been out for several months right now, and I can't wait for her to get back to television. And this tweet of her and her wrestling boot indicates that she may be coming back to television very, very, very soon. So if you guys remember, Bayley was actually injured in a Performance Center training session because Vince McMahon needed everybody to go to the Performance Center and wipe off that ring rust before they get back in front of live audiences. And this cost Bayley over a year plus in WWE for an injury that I deemed then completely unnecessary. They were training in the Performance Center in front of no fans. It's no different than performing in the Performance Center in front of no fans. And now you've been without one of your biggest names and somebody that I think is hugely popular in the women's division for over a year plus. Bayley coming back is going to be great, but Bayley coming back is not going to really fix the problems with the overall health of the women's division. Where does she go? Who is she going to go after? Is she going to go after Bianca? Is she going to go after Ronda? I don't know. I love Bayley just like everybody else does, but let's be honest, her coming back is not going to help the overall terrible state of the women's division on Raw and on SmackDown. But we'll see where she fits. Right now, we don't have any idea where she's going. But if this picture on Twitter is any indication, she will be back and getting ready to lace up the boots very, very, very soon. And finally, guys, Dark Side of the Ring. I was a fan of Dark Side of the Ring during Season 1 and Season 2. Season 3 didn't really hit as hard as I wanted it to. So Vice, right now, will continue to feature wrestling programming on their network, but it seems like they're going in a different direction. Dark Side of the Ring is now being put on hold, and WWE will now be heavily involved on Vice with a new series for the channel. SEScoops.com is reporting that Dark Side of the Ring is currently on hold. The show drew great ratings for the network, but there was said to be a turning point with the show after the controversial Plane Ride from Hell episode that included stories about what happened in the infamous 2002 plane ride, or on the 2002 plane ride, with WWE wrestlers on board. The story noted that several legends were contacted and passed on participating. Jim Ross and Tony Schiavone have also said publicly on their podcast that they would not be taking part in the future of the show. The story adds that Dark Side of the Ring creators Evan Husney and Jason Eisner will be involved with the WWE and the new Vice projects that they will be a part of. And this will have a sanitized tone and is being described as a show with quote-unquote campfire stories. Oh, how family-friendly, how PG of you, WWE, about the old days of wrestling. WWE will also be heavily involved with the show, with big names such as Stone Cold Steve Austin being a part of the show. In March, WWE issued a press release to announce that they've expanded their deal with A&E to produce 130 new hours of programming. A&E has an ownership stake in Vice TV. What it sounds like to me is that WWE got sick and tired of all of the bad-mouthing and all the bad press and all the bad publicity that the company was getting from this Dark Side of the Ring documentary. A lot of people watching the years of these Dark Side shows, they pretty much have eluded that it was a pro-AEW show and a negative on WWE. So I could easily see WWE getting involved. And now that we have A&E, who has a huge ownership stake in Vice TV, WWE stepping in and saying, well, we got 130 hours on A&E. We also want to do something on Vice TV to build this smaller channel and network up. So let's get rid of Dark Side of the Ring. We'll give you something a little bit more family-friendly, done in a professional way that doesn't really bring negative spotlight to us. And we'll give you big names on our end like Stone Cold Steve Austin and Bret the Hitman Hart and Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker, right? All the usual suspects. Seems like WWE basically canceled Dark Side of the Ring. I don't know what else to say in regards to that, but the campfire talks and the sanitized tone sounds like WWE didn't want any of the hardcore, gritty, down to the fucking bone details, the dirt and all the fucking rumor and innuendo and all the dark shit that everybody finds so interesting and fascinating. They didn't want none of that, man, especially if it brings them in a bad light. If you're a fan of Dark Side of the Ring, man, you may be upset about this because from what I see from here and what I read here, it seemingly looks like Dark Side of the Ring got fucking axed. If it comes back, I don't know. But if it does come back, it certainly looks like it ain't going to be the same thing that we all fell in love with during season 1. Guys, that's all I got for you. If you enjoyed this episode of OTS Extra, let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Hit that thumbs up, 1,000 likes minimum on today's OTS Extra. Let me know what you guys think of Roman Reigns and him missing Money in the Bank. What would you guys do? How you feeling about it? Leave me a comment. The comment section is yours. And also go follow me on social media at JD from NY206 on Twitter and on Instagram. I'll see you guys back live tomorrow night for Friday Night SmackDown and AEW Rampage right here on Off the Script. I'll see you guys then.